Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
That's the most
Is an
excited
enthusiastic. That's what happens when you get to the third. It means you've completed a trilogy, and we know
Whoa.
that all good things are trilogies. We are back once again to talk about something hopefully non that related. We're not going to talk about the M word today, as that has dominated the last two podcasts, and I feel like
Marvel.
we're going to get
Yes. I didn't know what you were on about. You're just talking.
I didn't mean anything too
nonsense.
controversial. This week we're going to discuss our favourite films and other such things around that area.
Yeah.
I think we would both consider ourselves filmies. Well, I mean, you're more of a filmy than me.
I would not classify myself as a filmy because I've never heard that term before.
Well, I've coined it.
Okay.
And if anybody else has
Filmy.
ever used
Like
it.
a foodie, but with films.
Yeah, but with films.
Yeah.
You're very...
You could just call me a nerd, it's fine.
I'm not, like... I mean, we both study film.
Yeah.
And we both watch a lot of them.
Sure.
But there's a lot of classic films that I just haven't watched, that I feel really bad that I haven't watched, and I don't appreciate artsy films. Like when I did film at A level, I was forced to watch Amores Perros, which is like a really classic Mexican. It's like a Mexican film about dog fighting. I think that's what Amores Perros. It's just horrible.
I don't want to watch it.
It's considered a really good film, but I mean, not in my eyes. It's a load of shit.
Yeah.
Give me Avengers over anything, and I'll be. We'll be fine.
We literally said a minute ago we're not going to talk about Marvel. You've already brought up Avengers.
I deliberately didn't put it in my favourite films, even though it would be in there. But we're not going to talk about it.
It wouldn't be.
It's fine.
Definitely.
We're going to kick it off, and Dan, do you know what? Because I love you so much, and it's going to be so long until I do one of these face to face with you again. You're gonna kick us off with one of your favourite films.
Okay, so I don't have one over the other. I have 4 favourite films because I just can't choose. 3 of them star Tom Hardy. The films are Legend, Lawless, Warrior, and The Dirt. The Dirt is the one that doesn't have Tom Hardy in it. So
This is the thing. Put it this way. I've seen. I think I've seen one of your favourite 4 films.
which one?
Which is the one that I've told you about with like the 2 Tom Hardys.
Legend.
Legend. I've seen Legend.
Weirdly, the one I wanted to talk about first.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, directed by Brian Helgeland, who is a very good director. I believe he's worked with Tom Hardy before. But what I love about this film, Tom Hardy plays the 2 main characters.
This is like double dosage for you.
Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted in 2015. At the height of...
Was this peak, was this Tom Hardy posters on the wall era for you? Be honest with the people, Dan.
I don't actually think I've ever had a Tom Hardy poster.
Really? That surprises me. Can't find any in HMV.
No. I have way more nerdy posters on my wall than Tom Hardy.
What posters do you have on your wall?
Well, actually, it's not specifically Tom Hardy, but I do have a old boxing promotion poster of the Cray Twins.
Oh, okay.
So when they boxed in their youth, I have a promotion poster for that, which is actually really cool.
Nice.
So
that's not nerdy. You're hardcore. You're a boxer. You're a fighter. Just like they fight in Legend. See, I'm always bringing it back.
Sort
of. To a degree. I think I'm thinking of the right film. I'm going to feel really stupid if I don't. But my favourite scene in Legend is the one in the bar. And they're a bit of a bust up.
That's the one that kind of went around the internet when this film came out. Which annoyed me a little bit. Because everyone would talk about that specific scene and not watch the film.
Yeah.
Whereas, the rest of the film is very good. And I think... Going slightly off topic quickly, the 4 films I have written down, I cried at.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. What was sad in Legend? Do I not remember half of this film?
The end is quite sad. Because everything basically... I mean, spoilers, obviously. Spoilers for every film we mentioned today.
Yeah. It came out 4 years ago. Come on. Get on it.
Yeah. Just Grow up.
If not, pause us, go watch it.
Well, don't do that. You won't come back.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, it's a very good point. You'll have like your dinner or something on the table, and you'll be like, then you'll be like doing homework. And...
I am hungry. Yeah, it gets quite sad at the end, and about the last 20 minutes, half an hour is quite sad, because it all goes to shit basically.
Actually, do you know what, Dan? I would say that 3 out of 4 of the films on my list I've cried at as well. So we're both pretty emotionally charged.
Yeah, I mean, I cry at every film. I think there is opportunity for me to cry at every film, except horror films.
You never cried at a horror film?
Not that I can remember.
No.
Like off the top of my head, no. Which is odd.
Yeah.
Because they are my favourite films. But I can't. But they're not films that you can cry at, really.
No, I know what you mean. Literally, how apt that you have, 5 little Blu-rays sat in front of me. So I can see the titles. I can't imagine.
Technically, 13, because that's a box set. Oh, hell yeah.
See, this is what I mean about... I know full well that the Blair Witch Project you got in Poundland.
I did, yeah.
I did. Which just is this sums up my point.
Yeah, but a Blu-ray for £1. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
What am I meant to do?
I would buy any film for £1 on Blu-ray and then flog it for £2 on eBay.
It's just smart business.
That's how life works. Always hustling.
I wouldn't... But if you look even closer, that's not even open. Because I haven't seen it yet.
This is a really technical question that isn't got anything to do with the podcast, but somebody can answer it in their heads whilst I ask it. Can you play Blu-rays on an Xbox One?
Yeah.
Fantastic news. And that's all I'll ask.
Yeah, you can. That's the only reason I started buying Blu-rays, because I knew I could watch them, and they're better than DVDs.
Yeah.
Just they look a lot nicer.
Get a Blu-ray, folks.
Yeah. Or just stream it.
You are.
Nothing.
That literally took too long for me to clock what you just said. Back to your films.
Back to the film.
Don't stream any of these films. These are good films.
Who said streaming? Yeah. It follows the true story of the Kray twins, who were gangsters in the 60s, I believe. 60s to 90s. They both passed away in, I think, one in the early 90s and one in early 2000s, something like that. It's just a biography of the Kray twins. It's really good. It's really interesting because you want to like them.
Yeah,
you really do, but they're just bad people. And this is what I mean. The last 20 minutes, you see that they're just plain bad people.
Yeah.
Whereas for the first hour of the film, you're rooting for them against the police and things like that. This film also stars Christopher Eccleston, who has gone quite mad recently.
Yeah. He's gone on a bit of a Nicolas Cage turn.
Yeah.
I see parallels between
He's grown
those two.
a pointy beard.
Yeah.
He's grown his hair out. He looks super old.
Yeah.
He looks like...
He's come a long way since...
Doctor Who.
Since Doctor Who.
14 years ago.
Grabbing... Did he neck Billy Piper? That's a lovely phrase, isn't it?
Did he neck Billy Piper?
No, I think David Tennant got all of that, which doesn't surprise me.
Do you know what? I don't actually remember. I think maybe at the end of the... Because he was only there for a series. Maybe
he was very good as Doctor Who.
He was very angry.
Yeah, he was a very angry Doctor
Who. Makes sense in the story.
I'd be angry if I was getting chased by a Dalek or something like that. I'm not going to lie.
I'd be more scared than angry. I wouldn't be angry at my character. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Not
a Dalek. Oh, dear me.
Do you think that's ever... we could sit here and talk about Doctor Who. I think we've both seen enough of it. Do you think there's ever gets to a point where it's how are you still around? I thought I banished you in my TARDIS ages ago.
What are you talking about?
Everything comes back,
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, because I feel like they need to introduce something big.
Yeah, some of the ways they've brought, the Daleks back is just a bit.
Talk about a shoehorn.
Yeah, like we get it.
Yeah, I mean, my favourite ever moment in Doctor Who was when David Tennant got turned into a little like old man baby.
Oh
the
yeah,
Master. That was fantastic.
The end of
stuff.
time, I think that episode is.
I think. I mean, yeah, it's just not what we're here for. But I mean,
no,
we've
I mean,
spoken about
right? Yeah, no, Legend,
very
good
Watch
film.
Legend. It is a very good film.
Because
at the end of the day, I suppose as well, like I can't remember the other. Who is the big guy?
Ronnie,
yeah. At the end of the day, he has a lot of issues. So underneath the
he's a paranoid schizophrenic.
Yeah, it's almost touches on that whilst also giving because that is something that evidently anyone would struggle with.
Yeah, it doesn't make light of it as such, but it also doesn't skim over the subject that he is quite
deranged.
Unstable.
Yeah,
because at one point of the film, Reggie, Reggie's the more business apt of the brothers, and then Ronnie is the more aggressive and violent. I think the monologue at the start of the film by Francis, who is married to Reggie, mentions that Reggie is the business smart.
Yeah.
He's like as violent as he is smart, but Ronnie is just a one-man mob. He's huge. He's frankly just nuts. So
it's a bit like a Of Mice and Men situation.
There's
some parallels in there.
Lenny and George.
Yeah.
But Ronnie doesn't want to tend the rabbits. He just wants to
kill the rabbits.
Kill everything. There is a point in the film which is actually really funny where he brings a goat into their highly successful casino.
Oh yes,
which
I remember.
Amazing. I love it. Legend. Watch
Legend.
it.
Go watch Legend.
Taron Egerton.
That one. It's got Elton John in it.
That one out of Kingsman that everyone likes.
Yeah, Kingsman. Have you ever seen Kingsman?
Isn't he nice?
Lovely boy.
Lovely boy. I've seen both Kingsmans. They're really good.
They are good films.
Except the second one.
I've seen both of them. I didn't like the second one. They're both really good.
Right. Do you wanna take one of your favorite films?
I'll jump in with one. I'll go. I mean, are we saying partially that Legend is your top film? Or are we not classing that any of these?
I can't rank them because I love all of them.
Okay, well, fair enough. I will just say what my favourite film is because I can class what my favourite film is. My favourite film is Her, and it's probably quite left field for me actually. It's directed by Spike Jonze and it stars Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson's voice, which is enough for anything. I mean, she is a wonderful lady, and her voice is. I mean, honestly,
it is just enough.
I imagine mine and Dan's voice on this podcast. You don't know what we look like unless you know us, which most people who listen to this probably do.
Yeah.
And you probably think, wow, what sexy voices they have. Scarlett Johansson is exactly the same. If I knew Scarlett Johansson, I would marry Scarlett Johansson's voice and the rest of her if she's offering. But hers a really good film. I do like the whole big ensemble, as you know, those films that we've touched on before. They are the most entertained I am in a cinema, but the 4 films, 3 out of the 4 films I have in here sort of don't match that at all.
Yeah.
Which probably makes no sense. But hers just a very nice. It's quite a tragic story, I mean, but it's really nicely done. It's really nicely acted. It's a very simple film. It doesn't have sort of, but it's also like I like the way it touches on futuristic elements.
Yeah.
The whole point of the film is a guy who falls in love with what's it called? An OS, an operating system.
Yeah.
So he just basically falls in love with something that has no body, but has an intelligence, and that's what he falls in love with, which I guess is a lovely social commentary there. But it's set in the very near future, a very believable future. because people have these big ideas about like the future, how everyone's going to be walking around with like, I mean, there's a thing on the BBC at the moment, and I saw a clip of it. I can't remember what it's called. Where someone implants a phone into their hands, and when they do the whole phone gesture, that's what they answer the phone with.
That is great.
I mean, like, I'm fine if that's what you think the future's going to be like, but if you go back, people thought in the year 2000 people would be in flying cars. And, I mean, my car doesn't even get off the drive, let alone off the ground. So, never has a film resonated with me so much, which is why I really like it. It's a story that genuinely makes me think, fucking hell, I'll end up alone as well.
Oh my god.
Falling in love with my phone.
You have an existential crisis.
Yeah. But it's a very, very good film, and if you haven't seen it, watch it. It's criminally underrated as well. Like, I think a lot of the films that we've got on here, I mean, to be fair, that's not true. The other 3 films I have on here are quite highly rated, but with your films as well, they are liked, but they don't ever get the recognition or spoken about in the same regard that they probably deserve to.
Yeah, I mean, one of the films I have on my list came out this year. So I feel like it hasn't had time to sort of get any traction.
Yeah.
Because I think it came out last month or something like that. But I have seen it so many times and I'm still not bored of it.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm going to reference this. I always get it wrong, what year it came out. I think it's 2012. It's come up with some American songwriter, Go Away. It came out 2013, and it's just a very, very good film. I love Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
And what's her name's in it as well? I've just seen her face, and she's a really good actress. Hold on, bear with me.
Rooney Mara.
Yeah,
Rooney Mara.
Amy Adams. That's what I was talking about. Chris Pratt's in it. It's just a really good film with a really good cast.
I hate
and
her.
It's very nice.
Kristen Wiig.
Kristen Wiig. You don't even see her face.
Good stuff.
She is a character who has phone sex with the protagonist, which is pretty much all you need to know about this film. It's not as weird as it sounds, although I have sat and watched it with my mum. So,
experience.
Yeah, an experience. But Dan, take us into the world of your next film.
Lawless.
Lovely.
Okay, Lawless is another film that stars Tom Hardy. But it also Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, another one of your favourites, as we know.
Yeah, I love Shia LaBeouf. I love his films, but also his antics.
He's an enigma, isn't he?
He
Shia
is.
LaBeouf.
Gary Oldman, who I don't think anybody can say Gary Oldman isn't one of the best actors of all time.
Gary Oldman's a brilliant man.
Also, Guy Pearce, an underrated actor, I feel.
Yeah.
Very chameleon. A very chameleon type of actor, where, you know, if Guy Pearce is in a film, you don't necessarily know it's Guy Pearce.
Dan, I've just seen it. Jessica Chastain's in this film.
Jessica Chastain is also in this film.
She has a frustrating face. It's like if Cameron...
Frustrating face?
Yeah, it's like if Cameron Diaz was unwell. What is it? Do you know what? No, she has a very similar face to who's the woman that plays Maleficent? Oh my god,
I've never heard of that thing.
Classic sort of the classic Hollywood chiseled female face.
Angelina Jolie
and Kate Blanchett and people like that.
I don't
the
know
very
who,
sort
I don't know
of
who Kate Blanchett is.
The one who plays Hela in Thor.
Yeah. She's really
but
cool.
We're not talking about Marvel.
Marvel.
No, they have these classic like cheekbones. They have these cheekbones.
Yeah.
I mean, we spoke about it before, didn't we? Neither of us have cheekbones, so maybe it's my envy. Maybe it's not a dislike for Jessica Chastain. Maybe it's that
it's just the fact that
I know she looks a million times better than I ever could.
Right. Oh, this film. It's about 3 brothers, the Bondurant brothers, who it's set in Prohibition America, where they bootleg, they sell bootleg alcohol, and in this film, the special deputy has been brought in from Chicago, played by Guy Pearce, who tried to shut down the brothers' moonshine business. That is Tom Hardy and Shia LaBeouf, both in suits.
I think I found your Christmas present.
That's gonna be my new lock screen.
That on a 30 by 30 inch canvas.
I would carry it with me everywhere. So yeah, the special deputy tries to shut down the brothers' moonshine business, but Forrest, who in the sort of community where they live, Forrest is known to be very hard to kill. I think they say indestructible.
Oh.
What is, set in 30s Deep South. They don't exactly have a way with words. They it's like a plot point in the film where they're like the sheriff of their community says to the special deputy that I think there's a feeling around these parts that Forrest Bondurant is indestructible.
Right.
And then the deputy laughs at him and he's like, "Have you seen what a machine gun does to indestructible?" Because they don't have machine guns in.
I see.
This small community.
I see.
But yeah, Forrest, played by Tom Hardy, is just a classic Tom Hardy character. He's quite quiet. He's massive because this is around. This was 2012, so it was around The Dark Knight Rises, where Tom Hardy plays Bane, and he is wham in that film.
Wow.
He is massive.
He is. Yeah.
He's bold. He's scary. I love him.
No one liked me until
Yeah.
I put on
No,
the
don't
mask.
don't do that.
I'm sorry, I had to. I know how uncomfortable impressions make you.
Do you know why impressions make me uncomfortable?
Tell me.
Because I used to do them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did someone play them back to you and you thought, shit, why the fuck did I do that?
Yeah, me.
I can do a good impression of the Queen.
We'll save that for another time. Because we need to get through these.
This is true. We've got so much to talk about, and we're probably about half an hour in.
We are.
Oh, go on, break it to me.
22 minutes in.
22 minutes.
Yeah, no, this is just a.
Is it quite westerny? It looks a bit westerny, but you can tell me otherwise.
It's more south.
Okay.
It's set in the deep south. I can't remember exactly where it's set. The Piedmont region of Virginia. I probably said that really wrong.
Where the hell is that?
Do you know what, mate? I don't know. Frankly, I just don't know. Yeah, deep south, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a good film. I can't say much more about it.
Yeah.
You get very attached to the Bondurant brothers. There's three of them, but the focus sort of holds on Forrest and I can't remember what Shia LaBeouf's character's called.
Just call him Shia LaBeouf.
Jack, maybe? I think it's Jack. Yeah, it is.
Nice.
So Jack's very different to his brothers in the sense that he is not accustomed to violence. He's just not very good at it.
I see. Yeah, he looks a bit more.
Yeah, so Forrest is the leader. One of my favourite quotes ever is from this film. I'm not going to quote it because I can't remember the exact quote.
One of my favourite quotes ever. I don't remember it. Give me a.
Okay, it's
Give me a
paraphrase. I just meant I didn't want to say it.
Okay. Okay.
Would
I understand if I watched the film?
Would you understand what?
Is it a powerful quote?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it can be used in and out of context. But yeah, so it focuses on Jack and Forrest more than it does Howard, the third brother, because Howard's not in it too much, but he's a alcoholic, Howard, and he's just
So have they all got their own sort of personal issues? Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah,
they're all different to each
yeah.
other. I see.
Yeah, they're not similar, but they're brought together by the violence. And
unity.
Yeah, Forrest is just so compelling to watch. He doesn't talk that much, but when he talks, you listen, kind of thing. Yeah. The film ends. It has a happy ending, which is odd for films like this. Yeah.
Goodness me.
It has a happy ending. It follows the end of the Prohibition in 1933. Yeah, they all get married. They all go into legitimate occupations.
So, an interesting point you made there. No, there aren't many films nowadays that have happy endings.
Like blockbuster films.
Yeah, like big film. They always end on. It's always open now, isn't it? It's never a closed happy ending. It's always like, right, okay, here we are.
Yeah, because everything feels like it needs to be part of a franchise.
Yeah, exactly. Everything wants to have the
option for a sequel.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it makes business sense. But but with films like this, Legend, Lawless,
they're standalone, aren't they?
Yeah, because they are. This is biographical. This is based on Matt Bondurant. Yeah.
I like the name Bondurant.
Bondurant is a good name. Based on his book, The Wettest Country in the World, which isn't as suggestive as it sounds. It's actually about the Prohibition era America.
You could be talking about England, to be honest. Especially with today's weather.
Yeah.
I would
it's
argue
very bad weather outside.
It is. It's horrible today.
I love it.
Which brings me to the second film on my list that has nothing to do with
weather.
Oh,
can I say quickly?
Oh, yeah, go for it.
So, throughout the film, Forrest is supposed to be invincible. He gets his throat cut in one part.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and he survives, and then he gets shot to shit in the last act. He still survives. Do you know what kills him?
Is it a puddle?
Actually, very similar. He gets drunk at the reunion that they have at the end of the film. Goes onto a frozen lake, falls into the freezing water, gets pneumonia, and dies.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a heroic ending.
Well, the first time I watched it, I was really angry because I was quite. I don't want to say young because.
Is it like a gag? It sounds very gaggy.
It's like, he's invincible. Into a lake, gets pneumonia, dies. Like he survived having his throat cut, being shot like 4 times.
Does the film end with a what and a circle transition zooming in?
It's really nice though because he has like a little dance on the frozen lake because he's supposed to be this really stoic, like he doesn't dance, he doesn't do anything fun, but he has a little jig on the lake, falls into the lake, and gets pneumonia and dies.
Well. It all went downhill. He was.
Yeah. I was really angry on the first.
Don't dance on frozen lakes, kids. That's the one thing we can take from this.
Unless it's an ice rink, in which you're very welcome to try.
And if you do, and you fall in, you have grounds to sue.
Fall into the ice rink?
No, I mean like if you were dancing on the ice and the ice gave
dancing on ice.
Shit,
when's
program.
That bad?
Don't watch Dance on Ice.
Oh, I like it.
It's bad.
I like it.
Right, I'm going to move on to something that isn't Dancing on Ice. I'm going to move on to a second film. See, I feel like a lot of your films are going to be you informing me. I'm going to ask you, have you seen Green Mile?
I have.
Very good film.
I cried my eyes out for about an hour.
Oh, God. It's one of the most powerful films I think I've ever watched just because of the message it says and how it ends. It's a film full of twists and you have to stick with it because there is a bit... It is a very long film. It's by far the longest film on my list. I think
it clocks in at about 3 hours.
Yeah, it's the 3 hour. It's a haul, but it's worth it at the end because I think that last half an hour of that film is probably some of the most powerful stuff ever put on screen. The writing, even thinking about it now, some of the things that is said by, the main character, one of the main characters. John Carthy.
I haven't seen it in so long.
It's effectively what it's about is death row in America and how this one guy gets put on death row for apparently killing these 2 children even though he hasn't done it.
No, he doesn't do it.
And effectively we find out through one reason or another he is like an angel. He has healing powers and all this sort of stuff. That's the big twist for me that almost took me out of the film but kept me in because of how good it was.
Yeah, it's a little fantasy.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a little bit jarring in that film. It just feels like at some points it doesn't fit.
But it doesn't dominate. He doesn't start doing like Fantasia. He doesn't, start lifting up buckets and everything like this.
He heals people with his hand, basically.
Yeah. And it's a social commentary on the world that we live in, or the world in which that film was set.
Yeah.
Because despite having healing powers and despite knowing that he's done nothing wrong, he still opts to die in the electric chair.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
Because he doesn't like the world. He says there's so much wrong in the world. He describes it as having too many pieces of glass in his head. And I feel like that is just a perfect summarization for everything.
I can't remember the exact quote, but it gives me like shivers every time.
Tom Hanks is in it as well, and Tom Hanks is amazing in everything.
Who plays John Coffey?
I will look. I know the guy is tragically dead now.
Michael Duncan or something?
It is something like that, isn't it? Michael
Clark Duncan. Yeah.
He
Since passed away, but is an incredible actor.
Yeah. In that film, he is probably one of the best performances I've ever seen. On screen. And his moments with Tom Hanks. There's a scene at the end, the night before John Coffey is set to be put in the electric chair, and the pair just have this intimate one-to-one conversation, and it's amazing.
Yeah,
I think in terms of if you're looking for a film where so many different things happen and it's really exciting, this film isn't for you. If you're looking for a film that is genuinely moving and has some of the best acting and dialogue in it, then Green Mile.
I think you have to. A lot of people like films. Not so many appreciate the art behind films.
Yeah.
If you're one of those people and you haven't seen The Green Mile, watch The Green Mile.
I know everyone says Shawshank Redemption is the best film or is up there, and I'm not going to disagree, but I would actually say I prefer Green Mile to Shawshank Redemption.
I probably prefer Shawshank, to be honest with you.
But they're both Stephen King, and they're both
they are both incredible.
Are they both directed by the same person? It wouldn't surprise me.
It really wouldn't, because
they're
quite similar.
They have similar emotional tones.
Yeah.
They have, and that they have very similar messages at the end of the day. And there is some moments in The Green Mile that are quite harrowing.
I don't like the execution personally.
The end at the very end, or the one in the middle? Because there's one in the middle. There's an execution in the middle of the electric chair when he doesn't put the sponge on his head to soak up the electricity, and the guy basically just fries.
He does it on purpose.
In the
as
shade,
well.
Yeah, he does it on purpose.
I hate that guy.
Yeah.
He's
Percy
one of the worst.
Watmore.
Yeah, one of the worst people.
Yeah, but it's an amazing film. A really good film.
Yeah, the execution at the end. He says please don't turn out the lights.
Yeah,
because they usually put a bag over their heads.
Yeah. That's a running thing, isn't it? Because at the beginning he says he doesn't like to sleep in the dark when he first comes. It's quite. It's like this juxtaposition of this very infantile, massive, bulky man.
Oh, he's huge. He's 7 foot.
Yeah, but he sits in the cell on his first night and says, "I don't like the dark."
Yeah.
And he's never seen a film. His one request is that he wants to watch a film. And there's this beautiful moment in which he watches this film, and he just sits there and just smiles like a child would at something, because it is just. But it is that, and I think that's what they do without actually putting a child in an electric chair on the screen. They put someone who is the embodiment of a child.
Childlike.
Yeah, exactly. And it works, and it's very powerful.
It is, yeah.
It's a really, really, really good film.
The next film I'm going to talk about, Warrior. It is moving, but not in the same sense as The Green Mile. Warrior is about, again, starring Tom Hardy alongside Joel Edgerton, who is an underrated actor in my opinion. He's very good. This film is about two estranged brothers who both partake in a mixed martial arts tournament. Something very close to me. It makes them come to terms, because at the beginning of the film they're estranged. They don't. One of them moved away with their mother, and then the mother got ill, and there's resentment there because one stayed with their dad. But they come together for this tournament, both through different reasons. Tommy, played by Tom Hardy, very easy to remember there, visits his father, Paddy, who is a recovering alcoholic. Tommy is the one that ran away from Paddy to be with their dying mother when he was just a boy, because Paddy was abusive to their mother, and he never forgave him. But the story there is that their dad was such a good trainer for Tommy that he had to go back, because he left the army because his best friend in the army was killed. So he ran away from the army, got a I'm not sure what it's called, a dishonourable discharge.
Right, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, but
Is it being remade into a television series or not?
I honestly don't know. But yeah. So Tommy is this dishonorably discharged. He's very, he drinks a lot. He does what he does to sort of like deal with the pain.
Right.
But his brother, Brendan, is now a teacher who has a family. He has a wife, which Tommy resents him for like not coming with him and their mother. But Brendan has a family, and they're struggling for money, which is why he ends up fighting in like bars and things like that to get a little bit of money to help his family get by. And then they come together for this tournament. Tommy basically runs through the competition. Like he brutalizes everybody, and then just like there's like traditions to mixed martial arts. You make an entrance.
Yeah.
You pander to the crowd, whatever.
Yeah.
And if you like at the end of the fight, the ref raises the winner's hand.
There's an element of showmanship to it,
yeah,
isn't there?
But Tommy disregards all that. Just like
right, I see.
Just like power walks to the cage, brutalizes someone. The fight gets stopped, and he just walks out the cage.
Fair enough.
Whereas Brendan, just like he's more of an underdog, so he fights people who he has no real like. There's no reason he should be beating these people, but he beats them. Kurt Angle makes an appearance in this film.
Oh wow! Okay,
I feel like
does somebody beat up Kurt Angle?
Yes, Brendan Conlon does. So,
wow.
Kurt Angle plays a character called Koba, who is an unbeaten Russian mixed martial artist.
Oh, please tell me he doesn't have a Russian accent.
No, he doesn't speak.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, thank God for that.
Kurt Angle should never speak. The last 3 years have shown that. Whether
there he is, yeah.
There he is,
Koba.
Yeah,
he looks terrifying, to be honest.
Look terrifying, yeah.
Yeah, he's based off a real MMA fighter.
Oh, okay.
Fedor Emelianenko, who was a feared Russian mixed martial artist.
You know your MMA.
I do. One of the greatest heavyweights ever, depending on who you ask. But yeah, the film is about bringing the family together again, forgiveness.
Do these two have to fight each other then?
Yes, the brothers end up fighting in the final.
Oh.
For the money. Brendan ends up winning.
Nice.
So he wins the money for his family. He also reconciles with his brother in the middle of the cage at the end of the fight. Because he puts him in a hold, which takes Tommy's shoulder pretty much clean off the bone.
Yeah.
Tommy is like trying to fight with one arm, and Brendan's like, "Please, you don't have to do this.
Yeah.
Please give up," but he just won't. And that's the part where I cried at this film. The ending,
scene, right? Yeah.
Because it's so just nice, just like in the middle of a cage, they're supposed to be fighting, and they reconcile, and yeah.
See, that's like with MMA and stuff like that. When you talk about it, or like you mention it, there seems to be, despite the fact that there are people who just beat the shit out of each other, that's their goal at the end of the day. There is this underlying element of respect to it.
Yeah, there's if you go into a cage, to fight another person, whether it be a man or a woman, in this case 2 men, I feel like you have to have respect for them.
Yeah, exactly. You've got in there for a reason.
They've got in there to fight you, so you have to respect, you have to respect them as well.
Yeah.
Which is why they have the touch gloves before the fight. They let the ref raise the winner's hand and walk away. There are obviously fighters who disregard these. Ronda Rousey is a big example of that. She refused to touch the gloves of any fighter she fought.
I never knew that.
Yeah, because that was her.
It was her gimmick.
I guess. Yeah. But yeah, it's a really nice. It's a family film about forgiveness and loss and all of this, with MMA on the side.
Yeah.
Which for me is the perfect film.
Yeah.
Being an avid fan of the sport and films, and Tom Hardy, and Joel Edgerton. So it's like the perfect film for me.
I see here that did Joel Edgerton get Oscar nomination for this? It says nominations Academy Award for Best Actor in a Supporting Role.
Well, there we are.
So,
I didn't actually know that, but yeah.
It looks like he may well have been credited for his stunning performance.
Good, because it is very good.
Yeah.
And he deserves it. Also, there is a couple of real MMA fighters that appear in this, as well as Frank Grillo.
Oh, okay.
Crossbones in the MCU. Nate Marquardt turns up. Anthony Rumble Johnson turns up. Brian Callen turns up. He's not a fighter, but he's in the MMA world. It's if you're an MMA fan, it's a good film.
Yeah.
But even if you're not, it doesn't really matter because it's still an amazing.
It's still a good film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not. There's funny moments, but it's not really a funny film because it's quite serious a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I have to say about Warrior.
That's the next one, Warrior. I'm going to brush through the next one simply because I don't think it needs that much time dedicated to it. Neither of my next two films do, to be honest. I will just say that The Dark Knight, as generic a choice it may be, is probably my favourite superhero film. I love all the Marvel films, but in terms of a film that brings together great acting, great dialogue, great visuals, everything about The Dark Knight I like. Don't get me wrong, the most recent Marvel film that we won't talk about again was very good and probably is on par, if not a little bit better. But I put The Dark Knight in there because I just think some of the performances in the film are sensational, and it's just a good film. It's just a good film, and I don't usually like the DC side of things, but it's very difficult not to like Batman, which I think is probably as much as I can say on it, to be honest, because everything that's been said, everything that needs to be said about The Dark Knight has been said.
The Dark Knight is a very commercially and just a commercially well-known film. Yeah. Everybody knows The Dark Knight. Yeah. Everybody knows. I think at the moment it's ranked like the third best film of all time.
Yeah, it's very liked.
Behind Vertigo and Citizen Kane.
Right. Let's talk about Vertigo. Okay? Let's talk about this shambles of a film. Okay? I've seen Vertigo at A level.
I've also seen Vertigo.
Have
not
you?
A level.
Have
Purely
you?
out of like
Intrigue.
Wow. I didn't like it. I just didn't.
I didn't like the film. I mean, we were going to talk about a film that we dislike. Maybe we've come together and decided that Vertigo is that film.
Yeah.
But from I don't know. It's just.
I just don't think it deserves to be up there.
Yeah.
It's currently ranked above Citizen Kane, which, in my opinion, is bullshit.
See, Citizen Kane is not a film I've seen.
I've seen Citizen Kane, and I love it.
Yeah.
It's a great film. Would I say it's the best film of all time? Probably not, but it's very, very, very good.
Yeah.
It definitely deserves to be up there in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think you can outright rank a film as the best of all time. It's subjective.
Yeah, exactly.
The Dark Knight is a film that deserves to be in the conversation. There's films that deserve to be in the conversation. Yeah. Citizen Kane is one of them. The Dark Knight is one of them.
Vertigo isn't.
Vertigo isn't one of them, in my opinion. But yeah.
See, Dan knows this little anecdote that happened to me the other day. So, I mean, I won't go too far into it as it is off topic, but we'll delve, shall we? Join me in this journey. I woke up in the morning about 6 a.m, which is horrendous as it is, and the world was spinning. And I thought, oh, fucking hell, what's going on here? Closed my eyes, nothing, it just wasn't a good time. Effectively, I did a Google in the end in the morning after some potential sickness that we won't go too far into, and found out that it was probably Vertigo. And the first thing I said to Dan was, I'm so pissed off that the thing I suffered with at 6 a.m. is the same name as a Hitchcock film.
Yeah.
It's just, it is what it is.
Not big fans of Hitchcock on this podcast.
No, I get it. He's the father of cinema, but he whatever.
Depending on who you speak to.
He's not going to get at me. So, personally anyway.
Definitely.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. I'm not scared of the dead unless it's a Michael Jackson video.
Oh my god.
Hit us, Dan. Go for the next one. Cause, The Dark Knight's a good film. That's conclusion. That's all it needs to be
there's
said.
not much you can say.
I'm looking forward to you talking about this film. I've seen clips.
The Dirt.
I feel like there's a lot of people that just gone, oh boy.
Oh
Here we go.
boy. Right. If you are close to me, or if you know me at all, you will know I've seen this film so many times since release, March 22nd, 2019.
Change the word
On Netflix.
so many times to too many times.
Oh my god,
Goodness
I love
me.
this film. This film is a biographical film about the band Motley Crue, who were a glam metal band in... Well, I can't say in because they were going until 2015.
Yeah.
From the early 80s to 2015, which is impressive in itself. A few, minor bumps along the way, breakups maybe, but they were still going with the original four, starring Douglas Booth, who teenage girls in 2012 or so will know from that Miley Cyrus film.
Yeah.
Colson Baker, also known as Machine Gun Kelly, one of my favourite rappers ever. Douglas Booth. You have on your screen. A very handsome man.
He's a very handsome man.
Yeah, I feel like
I'm sad that I don't know what Miley Cyrus film you're talking about.
LOL, I think.
LOL.
Yeah, the one.
I'm not going to Google that because that might be sad.
Probably shouldn't.
No.
Colson Baker, MGK, one of my favourite rappers. Probably a better actor than he is a rapper.
Oh really?
Yeah,
okay.
That's the debate going on right now because he's very good in this film, playing Tommy Lee. Daniel Webber, probably my least favourite of the four, but still quite a handsome chap and an incredible voice.
Okay.
He's the singer, plays singer Vince Neil. He's probably my least favourite, I'm not going to lie. He's quite a dick in the film.
Okay.
Fourth member, Ewan Rion.
I mean, I'm Googling all of these names and I will not know how to go there. Ewan Rion. Oh, is it this man?
Yeah, Ramsay in Game of Thrones. And Simon from Misfits. His two most well-known roles. So Douglas Booth plays... to begin with, his name's Frank Carlton Frana Jr., but he changes it to Nikki Sixx.
Nikki Sixx.
Yeah, one of the most famous rock stars of all time, purely because he is the front man of Motley Crue.
If you could change your name to any sort of Motley Crue type inspired name, what would you go for?
Something like Nikki Sixx.
Something like Nikki Sixx, yeah.
Because they're Nikki Sixx, Tommy Lee, Vince Neil, and Mick Mars. That's it. I like Mick Mars' name, so probably something planetary.
I reckon you could be Dan Venus.
Dan Venus.
Isn't
that the god of love? Also a woman.
Or maybe.
No, I like...
Oh, he's showing me the tattoo that avidly says Saturn.
Yeah, well, it doesn't say Saturn. It just is Saturn.
Do you know what? I was confused and I was like, which one am I looking at? I got confused and obviously talking about the planets.
The planet
I was there.
that I have tattooed on my wrist.
Dan Saturn. I like that.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean...
Do you know what? Also, an observation about all of your films, not all of them, 3 out of 4 of your films, you like biographical pieces, don't you?
I do, yeah. Because I feel like you can get more invested in the characters because they're real people.
Yeah, and as well, I know what you mean, because then you can go after the fact and find out what happened to these people.
Yeah, I'd heard Motley Crue's music before this film, but I wasn't like a massive fan. I wouldn't call myself a fan of Motley Crue, but after the film, I'm very much
become
a fan.
A massive fan of
I've become a massive fan of Motley Crue, going back and listening to their whole backlog. Yeah, this film is literally the story of Motley Crue.
Yeah.
They are just crazy.
They do some interesting things, don't they?
Yeah, they do some very interesting things. There is a very famous scene in the film where they are with Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, I've seen this scene.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. Ozzy Osbourne terrorises a poolside with his antics, offering a nice old couple, $5 out of his, butt cheeks.
Mm-hmm.
He's also Ozzy Osbourne is wearing a dress, a nice women's yellow pink floral dress at this point.
Why hasn't there been an Ozzy Osbourne biographic yet? Or has there been?
Because I don't think Ozzy Osbourne can remember what Ozzy Osbourne did about 10, probably like 10 minutes ago.
Do you know what? Someone could make it up, and I think he would just be like, "Yeah, I probably did that."
That happened, yeah. Yeah, he snorts a line of ants.
Yeah.
Ozzy does. He also, for want of a better phrase, urinates poolside.
Yeah.
And then says, "Well, everybody else has a drink," and licks it up.
Yeah.
Nikki Sixx then says, "Oh, I've got to step up here." Urinates poolside, in which Ozzy then pushes him out of the way and licks that up as well.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think one of like Nikki Sixx or something like that should have just said, "Ozzy, are you okay?" You know, like you're snorting ants.
No, because they love it. They love it in the scene. They're just like, oh, they call him a god.
Someone should just pull him to the side. I mean, like if you
Ozzy.
if I walked in here before we did this podcast and you had pissed on the floor and licked it, I would have put my hand on your shoulder and said, "Are you all right? What's going on?"
I'm concerned for you. As you should, yeah. But also, I don't do a litany of drugs and alcohol before we do these podcasts.
Yeah, that's very true. Although to be fair,
or in general, actually,
we might. Yeah, I love that. Oh dear.
Yeah. No, I don't do any of that. Wow. Oh dear. Yeah.
Oh,
no.
Dear. Is that knock at the door I hear?
Oh, gotta go. Yeah. This it starts off, all fun and games, they're having fun, but it ends in real problems. Nikki is addicted to heroin, overdoses in quite a harrowing scene, actually. He is also starts shooting up at Tommy Lee's wedding, his best friend's wedding. He's just shooting up heroin.
Yeah.
There's also Vince is at fault for killing the drummer of another band because he was drink driving with him in the car. So Tommy also punches. One of Tommy's things is he's just a romantic. He says in the film, I'm just a hopeless romantic. So he wants to get married quickly, and he gets engaged to a groupie. Ends up punching the groupie in the face because she said her name's Roxy. Roxy calls his mother the C word about 5 times, and he's like, "Can you please not do that?
I think that's
really quite rude."
Request.
And he just punches her in the face and kicks her off the bus.
Good.
Mick has ankylosing spondylitis.
Nice.
Which is...
You've nailed that, to be fair.
Thank you. Almost first time. Yeah, so they all have their own problems, but...
Are they all dead now, members of the Motley Crue?
No, they're actually the opposite. They're all alive.
They're all alive?
They are all alive.
Okay, fair enough.
And just nobody knows how old Mick Mars is.
There's
conflicting reports as to how old he actually is.
Does he not have a birth certificate?
Not one that anybody can find, because Mick Mars isn't his real name.
Of course.
But he goes by Mick Mars.
What was his name beforehand? What did you say it was?
What, Mick Mars?
Mick Mars. What was his previously known as?
But he doesn't have one.
Oh,
no, he does. Sorry, Robert Allen Deal.
Robert Deal.
Born either May the 4th, 1951, or April the 4th, 1955.
I mean, that's a gap, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, so he's either 68 or 64.
Wow. Okay, people genuinely don't know that.
Yeah, people actually don't.
Do you think
know.
I could get away with that?
His son claims it to be May the 4th, and no, I don't think he can.
No, I don't think I can.
It's on your Facebook.
Shit, yeah. Facebook's pretty conclusive.
Shit, yeah. No. Yeah, his son claims it to be May the 4th, but he'll never tell anyone.
No, who knows?
I don't even think he knows.
No,
no.
Yeah, to be fair, should be forgotten.
But yeah, this film is just so good. I've seen this so many times.
How many times?
Oh, 20.
20 times.
It's been out for
That's a commitment.
It's been out for just over a month. I've seen 20 times.
Streaming on Netflix right now.
It is streaming on Netflix right now. You should go ahead and check that out. The Dirt, starring Douglas Booth, Ewan Ryan, Carson Baker, Daniel Webber. Pete Davidson also turns up.
Oh, nice.
Who is a very funny comedian, in my opinion. Very funny in the film, actually. He has one of my favourite lines, which is his introduction, which I'm not going to repeat because I'll start uncontrollably laughing. And nobody
needs that.
Nobody needs that because of my horrendous laugh.
Isn't it weird that we both ended on a film that heavily features music? It's almost like we're coordinated in this.
I don't like this film.
You don't like this film? I think you've told me before that you don't. I know a few people that really don't like this film, and the only reason I like this film is because it's the only musical I've ever watched that I've actually liked. And I really like Ryan Gosling. La La Land.
Have you seen Mamma Mia?
Yes.
You didn't like Mamma Mia?
No.
This will be the last episode.
Mamma Mia. Are you throwing Mamma Mia at me?
Mamma Mia is one of my favourite films.
Really? Wow.
No, it's just one of my favourite musicals.
I mean, see, this is interesting with you because you can appreciate musicals, can't you? Despite being a big fan of horror. You sort of go across the whole spectrum, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I was in them.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I was not in them. I haven't done one for a few years now, but I love musicals, yeah.
Yeah, I just think some of them are very jarring, and La La Land's the only musical I've enjoyed.
Yeah.
I just like the performances in it, and I know it's loved, and it had a lot of Oscar nominations, and usually I don't like the Academy. Until they one day nominate me, of course. But
is La La Land the one where they accidentally said it won, but it didn't?
Yes. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was because it
didn't deserve to win.
Well, no. To be fair, I've never seen any of the other films. I don't think most of the films that win the Oscars for Best Picture deserve to win the Oscars for Best Picture.
No.
I've never seen Moonlight, but
I too am not a massive fan of the Academy Awards.
No, I think they are.
I feel like it's very pandering.
Yeah, they are massively pandering now.
Yeah.
I mean, next Oscar season we could have like a field day.
Yeah.
Yeah, when God knows what will be nominated. Do you know what? That'll probably be an episode. We could have an Oscar preview. Who we think will get nominated and what ridiculous shit will win it.
Tom Hardy will get nominated
For Venom.
No.
The
Al Capone film he has coming out.
It's an Al Capone film. Oh dear, Dan's gonna be at the cinema.
Yeah,
a lot. But yeah, no, La La Land for me again, bit like The Dark Knight. Everything that's been said about La La Land, so I don't really need to add
really bad.
anything. It's a good film.
It's not, but it's fine.
It's a. Do you know what? It's an enjoyable film that you can just watch. It doesn't require any extra thought. You can have it on in the background. You think, oh, look, there's a sing song going on, and you can enjoy it. Apart from, do you know what? I don't usually like Emma Stone, but she won me over in this film.
I like her in Birdman.
Oh, Birdman!
I think it's the only. I think she's in that Easy A film, but it's not.
She's in those Amazing Spider-Man films that you somehow like.
No, I like The Amazing Spider-Man, not The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh no, yeah, that's
because I don't know anybody who likes The Amazing Spider-Man 2 because it is
shit.
I mean, yeah, it's just really bad.
Put it how it is.
Yeah,
you would say the word really bad. I would say shit.
Yeah, The Amazing Spider-Man is really good though.
I mean, we agree to disagree. If you don't like La La Land and you like The Amazing Spider-Man, you do you.
I just really like Andrew Garfield.
I know. It's sad. Not that it's sad that you like him. It's sad that he did that. He was in the worst Spider-Man film.
Yeah, but now we're at a point with Spider-Man where it couldn't be any better.
Yeah, good point.
Last night.
Oh no! Are we getting into it?
Last night, I got halfway through Homecoming.
Yeah. Again
before I fell asleep. Not because it's a bad film. No, it was just 3 a.m. So I had no reason to be up anyway. No reason to not be asleep anyway. Sorry. Yeah, but I was watching the film and it's like he's such a good Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Like when Ned comes up to him when he's at his locker and he's got Emperor Palpatine, and he's like,
"Yes,
do you want to come and be on the Death Star?" And like the 3 girls next to him, and it's like, "What a fucking nerd!" And he's like, like when I first watched it, I was expecting him to go, "Oh, can you shut up?" Because there are girls there, but he was like, "Yes." Yeah, let's do it now.
He's not cool, is he?
He's not cool, but Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker was like a hipster, And it's like, it's not really Peter Parker, is it?
time.
He's a really good Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield's a really good Spider-Man. But is he a good Peter Parker? No. Tobey Maguire is too old. Never should have been there anyway.
No.
But then, like, I have really big, like, nostalgia for the original Spider-Mans.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not very good.
No one likes Spider-Man 3, but I will always like Spider-Man 3 because it has, like you say, the element of nostalgia. Like when the black suit comes on, I'm like, oh.
It also has another character, which has been mentioned in every podcast episode yet. Venom! Who I'm looking at right now. I love Venom.
God,
Venom is
man.
Cool as fuck. Yeah, he's in Spider-Man 3. Unfortunately played by that weird kid from Star Wars.
Yeah. Is he in Star Wars?
Yeah, he's played by
Yes, I know who you mean now.
Anakin.
Yeah,
but
I know who you mean.
What's his name?
I don't know.
Somebody get his name.
Somebody get his name. Come on.
Oh, something. I think it starts with a T.
A T.
Anakin.
Maybe it's just a T. We're about to find it. Please hold.
Oh, come on.
Great.
Where it starts with a T. I know it does.
Here we go. We're gonna find it.
It doesn't.
We're not gonna find it. What's his name? Anakin
Skywalker.
Anakin Skywalker.
Oh, I found a soundboard.
Soundboard.
Wait, don't tell me.
But is it any of this? This is bad. I'm genuinely. How can we not find it? Is it Hayden Christensen? That's who it's come up with for me. It is Hayden Christensen.
Why did I think it starts with a T?
Why is Zac Efron on that page? Anyway, right.
I think I was thinking of Tobin Bell, but he plays.
Oh right, yeah.
The Jigsaw Killer in Saw.
Yeah. I don't think Tobin Bell and Hayden Christensen are anything like.
No, they're not. I just
one another. But it's
also
alright. I now want to see Tobin Bell as Venom. So you put that in my mind.
Oh, he'd be so good.
Dan, give us a time check. What are we hitting next?
We are at 1 hour.
We are at 1 hour. We took an hour to talk about 8 films.
Yeah.
Go us.
I mean, I'm good to keep going.
Yeah.
Let's
just go. Who's on for a marathon?
Hell yeah.
Not us, because
Right.
I don't think we're in any condition to.
I'm down. I'll talk about the next 4 things that
I'm gonna let you just go here because this is where me and Dan are gonna clash. We've got an hour in and we're gonna clash here as Dan talks about his favourite genre.
Favourite genre? Horror. Yes. I love horror films so much. Okay, so more specifically, 70s, 80s, 90s slashers. Those decades were so pivotal to horror films. Now, you can say, oh, they're not very good films. I disagree. Halloween is one of the best films ever made. John Carpenter is one of the best directors ever. It was so pivotal to the genre of horror. And think about it. How many people are now scared of masks, scared of claw gloves, which is naturally quite scary anyway.
Yeah, I think that's quite scary anyway.
Just big lumbering men killing people. And, well, no, Freddy Krueger isn't. But, like, people are scared of masks because of Michael Myers. People are scared of clowns because of Pennywise. Mm-hmm. People are scared of hockey masks because of Jason. Yeah. Like, when you see a hockey mask, personally, the first thing I think of is Jason Voorhees, not the fact that it's used in a popular American sport. Yeah. That might just be because we're English, but when I see a hockey mask, I think Jason Voorhees. When I see a green and red sweater, I think Freddy Krueger.
I think Christmas. This is like one of them psychological analysis things. I'm actually thinking of the first thing that pops into my head when you say these items.
Right, and then personally, I have a fear of dolls. So I have what's it called? Pediophobia. I have a crippling fear of dolls.
Oh no. What kind of dolls?
Marionettes.
Okay.
Marionette puppets.
Yeah. That's fair enough.
I can't look at them. So Chucky for me is one of the scariest films ever.
What about Saw? How do you get on with that then?
Saw, I'm okay because Billy isn't sentient.
Yeah, no, true.
Billy. Most people think the puppet is called Jigsaw. The puppet is called Billy.
Yeah.
Billy E. Puppet.
Billy
Grow
E.
up. Watch Saw. It's good.
it's strange to me because Saw is the, I mean, yeah,
It's
conventionally it's the first horror film I saw.
If you say it's torture porn, I'm literally going to elbow you in the shin.
Do people say it's torture porn?
Yeah, because there's a subgenre of horror called torture porn, which came after films like Scream, which is arguably, in my opinion, one of the most important films ever made. Because I'm such a big fan of horror. Because
I think people can tell
genre.
your tone when you got into horror. You're like bouncing up and down.
Because I love having the opportunity to talk about it, but I can't. I have to talk about it succinctly, otherwise I come off as a lunatic.
Yeah, you have to
I have to calm down, otherwise I'm just going to be bouncing for the rest of the day.
It's fine. I'm sat like about 30 centimeters away from him, and I'm not mildly concerned yet.
You can feel the energy. Yeah. I'm about to chuck my chair out the door. Yeah, there's a subgenre of horror called torture porn, which came after things like Scream. Torture porn is basically how gruesome can you get,
right?
And how much can you get away with showing gore.
I see.
The first Saw is not that bad
no.
compared to the Saws after.
The first Saw is quite inventive.
I think so,
in what it does, but then it does just get stupid.
The franchise storyline is very convoluted.
Yeah.
The actual name of the Jigsaw Killer eludes me right now. I can't remember his name.
I can't remember either. Another Google. I hope it's not.
The puppet is called Billy.
Yeah.
The actor we mentioned earlier, Tobin Bell. What's his character's name though?
Oh no. Why isn't he even credited?
Oh, John Kramer.
John Kramer, yes.
John Kramer, one of the most famous names in horror. John Kramer. Like his reason for doing the Jigsaw murders gets a little bit like,
yeah,
okay, but he has like 3 different motives, and he's like, no, that's not the motive. This is the motive, and he keeps doing that, which is really odd. But
it's quite flippy floppy.
Yeah. So the torture porn subgenre apparently started by Saw. Things like the Human Centipede, fall into that category. Hostel, falls into that category. Just films like that where how gruesome can you get, which is what unfortunately a lot of people look at as horror films. They don't remember, like, films like Get Out is a good example of a recent horror film that received critical and audience acclaim.
Yeah.
People forget that's a horror film, but it is.
No, exactly. Yeah.
It really is.
That's where I begin to like horror films. My criticism of horror films, as I've said to you before, is I like a film that carries a story. And sometimes I feel like horror films only carry the story of X wants to kill Y. However, with things like you say, like Get Out, and when they have a story, when they are well put together, and they have, like, I guess it's satisfying. I can almost see it like these are characters that, despite the fact they are these monstrous beings, you get invested in them like you would any other character.
Yeah, I mean the what made Michael Myers so scary and what made Halloween so scary to people in 1978 was the film is set just in a neighborhood.
Yeah.
Michael Myers is just a man.
Yeah.
He's just a man in a mask and overalls who kills babysitters on one Halloween night. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
There's debate whether it's like the best Halloween film because some people find it boring. I strongly disagree.
If you right, okay, so Halloween 2019 is here. Brexit is just about to happen. What film are you putting on?
For what?
For what is your ultimate Halloween film? Like, what is going straight in the DVD player?
What is my favourite horror film, are you asking me?
Well, I mean, what is your go-to? Like, it's Halloween, everyone wants to be a bit scared, you've got a few mates over, you're all drunk.
Right, okay.
What are you putting on?
Ooh. Do you know what? Probably Halloween 2018. Because...
Oh, okay.
That film... The Halloween time... The timeline of the film says, like, 10 films now. It's quite weird, but the Halloween that came out in 2018 is set straight after the events of Halloween 1. So it disregards Halloween 2, 3, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, my God, I see.
They all have, like, subtitles, like Curse of Michael Myers, Revenge of Michael Myers, things like that. But, yeah, Halloween 2018 is set straight up, because John Carpenter and Deborah Hill, the two main driving forces behind Halloween, just eventually they left the franchise because the franchise went in a direction they didn't want it to go.
Yeah.
But they came back for this one, and it is a very good film. For people who don't like horror as much as I do, it's still a film that you can watch and be scared. Like, it's a good horror. It's like Get Out. It's a good horror film that is like everyone can watch it and enjoy it. Because say, I said to you, okay, we're gonna watch Nightmare on Elm Street, the original. You'd be like, oh, it's just a bad horror film. Whereas I'd be so stoked because I love that film, and I think it's just amazing, and it introduces the world to Freddy Krueger, which everyone needs. Freddy Krueger.
My prejudices towards horror films come from two reasons. One, that I hate being made jump, which is just, and actually I reminisce to the first time I met you. As I opened the door of my flat and you were stood behind the door and scared the living daylight out of me. But that's one reason I don't like horror films, because I'd always be on the edge of my seat. And but I know some people really like that. Yeah.
I love that.
And the second thing is as well, I think when there's films like all the Paranormal Activity films and The Conjuring and things like that, they give horror films a bad name. Because they go on and on and on and on. Like, there are good horror films. Like, I'm sure I've seen some of, like, Cabin in the Woods. I've seen Get Out.
Cabin in the Woods.
Films like that. These, like, even Blair Witch Project, I know is a good film because they have unique elements to them.
Yeah, the reason I haven't opened that is because that's the remake and apparently it's bad.
Oh, really?
Oh, no. So I'm just not going to open it.
But it's red.
It's
quite
red.
Nice.
It's a red Blu-ray box, which is quite odd.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. I think the first Paranormal Activity is very good. One of the first horror films that I watched that I really loved. I love the first Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
I don't like the sequels.
No.
Because it just gets too much.
I just feel like sometimes there is this mentality within some, not all, horror films and directors in which they think, right, we can make this on nothing and make so much money from it. Yeah. Let's just keep doing it.
Do you know where that started? Do you know where that started from?
Tell me.
Halloween.
Yeah. Halloween
was made on a shoestring budget by John Carpenter and Deborah Hill, and it's one of the best films ever. It's
a in terms of business, it makes a lot of sense, and I understand why some people do it. But sometimes I feel like with, like you say, further Paranormal Activity sequels, it becomes lazy writing because they just like, right, well, we know it's going to sell.
Yeah. The reason I didn't put any horror films in my top 4 or top whatever is because my favourite genre was going to be horror. So here's where I would talk about it.
You're going to pack it in.
Pack it all in. Slashers from the 70s, 80s and 90s. Yeah. Friday the 13th. I mean, Jason Voorhees is probably my favourite. Mm-hmm. But yeah, even with that, there's so many sequels that just aren't good. The story gets really convoluted.
Does it frustrate you then to watch like a bad Friday the 13th film?
Yeah, because there is a couple. Jason Takes Manhattan is one of them.
That sounds like a Home Alone sequel, doesn't it? Whenever I hear that, it's like Home Alone New York. And
there's one good part of that film, and there's a shot of Jason Voorhees in the middle of Times Square. Now, for me, as a horror fan,
I want to find it.
That is just an amazing shot. It's just Jason in the middle of Times Square with like all the billboards behind him. He's just holding a machete. I'm pretty sure he cut someone's head off about 10 seconds afterwards. Yeah, there it is.
There he is.
It's just such a cool shot. Yeah. That's the only good thing about that film. And it's called Jason Takes Manhattan, but it doesn't end up in Manhattan until there's like half an hour left. It's more Jason Takes a Cruise Ship.
Nice. I like that.
And then Jason Goes to Hell is awful.
Oh, it sounds bad.
Yeah, basically Jason...
Sounds like a Meatloaf song.
Yeah, it doesn't have... Like, Jason dies in the first 10 minutes.
Oh.
And then his...
It's a bit of a Thanos situation.
Yeah, and then it's like he's like a worm that possesses people for the rest of the film.
Fuck's sake.
So Jason isn't Jason anymore. He's like a worm. And there's like a newscaster that becomes Jason Voorhees, and then there's like a policeman, a doctor. How it starts, a doctor eats the heart of Jason Voorhees.
I mean, come on now.
Yeah, this is for me where
we are in the realms of silly.
I'm sorry. As big a horror fan as I am, I can't get behind this.
No, yeah.
You've gone too far.
Is that the moment where you're like, shit? This is why some people don't like horror films.
When a heart starts talking to a doctor and a doctor eats it, and then he becomes Jason Voorhees, is where I draw the line.
Do you know the weirdest thing about it? There are so many parallels between that story and Venom's story. When I think about it, I'm like, oh god.
Yeah.
But now I see why you like Venom, because obviously it's probably the most horrific character of all of the Marvel bunch.
Yeah, I mean, you are free now to talk about your favourite genre.
Well, you see, it's really bad, isn't it? Because mine is very... I would go either action or drama. I'm very... Do you know what? I came to this conclusion the other day, and actually earlier on when I was thinking of my favourite films, I get more invested in television than I do in film.
Really?
With some, anyway. I mean, the television that I enjoy is when there is good characters that go on for a while, and you feel like you can stay with them. With films, sometimes I think that is slightly limited, but there are a lot of films I like, but I genuinely don't think I could say I have a favourite genre, because I don't have... Like, there isn't... You look at my top 4 films, none of them fit into the same genre.
Yeah.
They're all totally different genres. Like, one's a fantasy, one's like a romance, one's a musical, and the other's a superhero film.
Yeah.
You know, I just enjoy... I think, at the end of the day, if I watch a film, and I like it, then I like it. And I think this is... I don't think I could ever say I have a favourite genre. I have a least favourite genre. I don't like comedy films. Films that set themselves out to be comedy films. Unless they're obviously classic, really funny comedy films.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Films like anything Adam Sandler's been in.
Yeah. I mean, that's...
Except The Waterboy, The Longest Yard, Happy Gilmore, 3, Adam Sandler. But films like Grown Ups.
You've forgotten an amazing film. Jack and Jill. And the silence descends.
I'm just not going to say anything. I'm just actually not going to say anything.
So, because I'm...
Oh, actually, quickly. I am going to say something.
Oh, about Jack and Jill?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
My dad was less than happy with that film.
Oh, really?
He was livid, actually.
What's your dad's name?
Paul.
Shout out to Paul.
He
probably
cannot...
isn't listening.
He can work a laptop, but... purely for eBay and Gumtree.
Nice.
That's about...
Does he want to go down to Poundland and get some Blu-rays and sell them on?
Which is odd that you say that, because that is primarily what my dad does.
Lovely. We'll get in contact.
He doesn't.
Can't wait
he
to
doesn't,
speak to you, Paul.
Sorry, he doesn't go to Poundland, buys DVDs and sells them on. He's a trader. So he'll buy
a big hustler.
He'll buy anything and then sell that at a profit.
Nice. I like it.
Which is what he has chosen to do with his semi-retirement.
Fair enough.
You know, yeah.
But because I can't talk about my favourite genre, I will move swiftly on. And do you know what? I'm even going to brush over my favourite director, because you've got far more to say about yours than I have to say about my generic director. My favourite director, I was going to put Spike Jonze, who directs Her, because I like films like Being John Malkovich and stuff like that.
I love Being John Malkovich.
But Christopher Nolan's probably my favourite director, just because when I looked at his films, there isn't a film I've disliked. I really like Dunkirk. I really like Inception.
Yeah.
I really like all the Batman films, although, you know, let's not talk about the Superman ones. I don't enjoy those ones.
Man of Steel's good.
In my opinion. I just think Christopher Nolan's a good director. I don't think that's a too out there thing to say.
I mean,
and he's a good director and a good writer as well.
Yeah.
But in terms of favourite star, I will just go there and say that Joaquin Phoenix is my favourite actor. Tom Hanks is up there, but Tom Hanks latterly has become a little bit, I don't know, uninspiring. But that's because he's done so many good roles. Like, I'm not saying that in Sully he wasn't good, or in Bridge of Spies he wasn't good, but he's certainly not as good as he used to be in some of his most iconic roles. But for me, Joaquin Phoenix is fantastic. I don't know if you've ever seen... Have you ever seen the Johnny Cash?
No,
biography?
but I really would like to.
It's amazing. Walk the Line, I think. I think it's called Walk the Line. It's a really good film. He stars in Her. He's in the Joker film, which, you know, we'll talk about in a bit. But I really like Joaquin Phoenix. I think he's a really good actor. He was in a film last year that's really good, and I can't remember what it's called for the life of me, so I'm going to Google it. but it was critically acclaimed. He's just a really good, grounded actor who does a lot of crazy things. Oh, he's also good in Gladiator. Of course, he's good in Gladiator. The Master. He's very good in The Master.
Gladiator was the film I was trying to reference earlier when we were talking about Joaquin Phoenix before we started recording. I remember him in that.
Is it 2017? Is it 2018? You Were Never Really Here. That's a really powerful film in which Joaquin Phoenix is basically like just a real brooding character, and it's just a real. It's a real gritty film. That one. That's quite a slog to get through because of how dark it is. Yeah. But he's a very good actor who's quite diverse, I think, as well in his roles. I just really like him, and I wish he'd do a bit more. Actually, I wish he would do a little bit more. I would love to just go on a tirade of watching every single Joaquin Phoenix film that there is, but I mean, I don't have the time for that.
I essentially did that with
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy, my favourite actor.
But having said that, I saw Walk the Line before I watched Her, and Joaquin Phoenix became my favourite actor after watching Her. And that's testament to just how resonating his performance is in that film. Yeah. Very, very good actor, and I hope one day to shake his hand, although not have too much of a conversation with him, as I've heard he can be quite difficult. Yeah. So I will just stick to a handshake. Yeah. And that'll be it. So Joaquin, if you ever want to come to Bath,
I think I would love to meet Tom Hardy. Yeah. But I wouldn't like to have a full-blown conversation with him.
They say never meet your heroes, and I think that's probably right with a lot of actors.
I would like a handshake, possibly a picture if he's up for it. Yeah. That would be it. Yeah. Because I don't want to...
Don't lie, you want a kiss on the cheek.
I mean, yeah. I want him to hold me.
Spoon you.
No, I just, because I don't want to, ruin... I don't want to have a bad experience and have my vision of Tom Hardy marred. Yeah. But before I go too deep into Tom Hardy, I'm going to first mention...
Wow.
Oh, God.
Oh, wow.
That's a bad choice of words right there. Okay.
That's blown me out of the water, that was.
Righty-ho.
Right, go on.
No, I'm going to talk about Edgar Wright first. Yes. My favourite director.
Very good director, Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright has a very distinct style where he makes boring things less
boring.
So, through through his directing. Yeah. The Cornetto trilogy stands out for me. It's just 3 really funny films. Yeah. Starring...
Fantastic films.
Directed by Edgar Wright, starring Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. A lot of actors are in all 3. Yeah. Martin Freeman is in all 3.
Do you know what? I was thinking about Martin Freeman earlier, as I tend to on a Wednesday afternoon.
Daily basis.
Yeah. He's a very sort of underrated actor, I feel. He's very diverse in the things that he's... Oh, they hate him with an American accent.
I don't mind it. I watched him in a horror film not too long ago.
Oh, he's in a horror film?
Yeah, the name... I think it's called Ghost Stories, maybe? Mm-hmm. Either way, very, very, very good film. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, Edgar Wright, yeah. As they would say in film studies, an auteur.
An auteur, Edgar Wright is indeed. Because if you watch an Edgar Wright film, you know it's an Edgar Wright film.
Yeah, exactly.
Films, Baby Driver.
What? Why was it... Oh, damn. I totally missed that off my top 4.
Baby Driver.
Baby Driver would easily be in my top 3 films.
It's an incredible film.
Do you know what? Scratch everything I said about La La Land. Baby Driver is a million
Ignore the first hour of this podcast. Baby Driver is Matt's new favourite film.
I think it's top 3. It would be Her, Green Mile and Baby Driver for me. I think.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Yeah. Good film.
And then, the Cornetto trilogy. He doesn't have an extensive film.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. What makes him almost even better in that sense is he takes projects when he wants them. Yeah. He doesn't do things just because. And I feel like that's where some directors, maybe like even Christopher Nolan, is a bit like, you don't need to do this.
You should slow down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, with Edgar Wright, he doesn't do bad films because when he does films, it's what he wants.
And he works with people who he knows himself are good. Yeah. I mean, Edgar, he was going to direct Ant-Man.
I'd love to have seen that.
I would have loved to have seen.
I don't know how much. I don't know how much of that film is his. and how much of it isn't. But
I see a lot of Edgar Wright in that film, though.
Yeah.
Which is odd, because I started off hating Ant-Man.
Like, Edgar Wright and Paul Rudd would be a really good combo.
Yeah.
Because Paul Rudd can pull things off.
Oh, easy. There's not much to say on it other than he has never made a bad film, and there are no films of his that I dislike.
No, it's very interesting as well because Baby Driver, I remember hearing about it or reading about it or something like that, and it was said that he had the idea years and years ago, but he wanted every single song that's used in Baby Driver. He knew that he wanted. He waited for the people to acquire the licenses of those songs to then write the film.
Oh wow, okay.
So he wrote the music. He wrote the film to the music because that's how he envisaged it. Like if you watch the opening scene of Baby Driver, this is what's so compelling. Not a single moment or single like sound in the film is out of time with the music.
Yeah, it's not.
It's perfect. I think it's probably the most near perfect film I've ever seen.
Yeah, he uses. He's very good with music and sound. Yeah, Edgar Wright.
Yeah.
Baby Driver is probably the best example of that.
And comedy, they're funny.
They are very.
All of them are funny films. Every single film.
Baby Driver less so, but it's still you still
moments,
laugh at
doesn't it? And I mean, I love John Hamm.
Yeah.
John Hamm's a brilliant man.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Do you know what? Actually, do you know what? John Hamm is someone I feel like I could shake the hand of and then have a conversation. Because he's not one of my heroes. Oh yeah, I'd be intimidated by John Hamm.
Yeah, you'd be naive not to. He is terrifying. But yeah. I mean, moving on to more so on Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
My favourite actor. It couldn't be anyone else for me, really.
No.
I enjoy 95% of his films.
Yeah.
Mad Max for me is a bit of a meh.
I've seen one of
Child 44 was a bit meh.
I've never heard of it.
Oh, don't bother. I genuinely don't bother. Not even Tom Hardy can say that film. It's awful.
Is Venom a bit meh? Difficult one, that one.
The film, yes.
Yes.
Eddie Brock in that film, no.
Yeah.
I think Gary Oldman's also in Child 44, which is upsetting because Gary Oldman is the hero of Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
And they made a bad film.
Oh,
but they also were in Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
Oh, that's a good film.
Yeah, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy is very
good. Do you know why I love that film? Because it's got so many good British actors in it.
It does, yeah.
It's just like, wow. They
just
keep coming. Yeah.
Oh.
This last...
Yeah.
Maybe when we get over a point, the innuendos get a bit too far.
Yeah, we start to forget that we're being recorded. No.
Dan's just seen the time run of this and realised he has to watch the whole thing through again, so...
Oh, I have to listen to this back, just in case we've said anything...
Too controversial.
I
hate Star Wars.
I will delete it. I'm not going to delete that. You've made a mistake.
You made a mistake.
I'm not going to... Yeah, I'm going to listen to this back and maybe take out some stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to take this out.
No.
Because then...
I think we should have a director's cut.
No. Because that's twice the work for me, so no.
Let's end it very quickly with a film you're looking forward to this year.
We're not going to end it quickly, you know that.
Well, no.
We're going to talk about this for about 15 minutes. And then talk about Adam Sandler as Galactus. Who actually, Galactus didn't get a mention in Endgame.
No.
Which, in the end game, was really good, because the ending of Endgame is one of my favourite endings of anything ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just say ending again. Ending.
Endgame.
And
the ominous clanking of the hammer against the whatever it is, the steel, the iron. What does it mean?
Don't know what it is. Haven't looked into it too much because I'm still getting over the film.
Yeah, me too.
I've seen like the pirated copies are starting to come out.
Oh, are they? I
Yeah.
wouldn't know a thing about that because I'm
because
neither would you.
I watch my films legally because who streams films? Nobody. Who does that? Not me. I didn't say anything earlier. I'm not. Should I take that out?
No, I wouldn't. No one's coming for you. They don't know where we are.
Thank God for that.
Find me.
I hate Liam Neeson. That's not true. I hate Taken. Sorry, I didn't mean I hate Liam Neeson. I mean I hate Taken.
Yeah.
And I hate a lot of the films Liam Neeson's in.
Yeah, he's done some bad ones, hasn't he?
But it's like with a Liam Neeson and like a Samuel L. Jackson, like veteran actors.
Yeah.
I feel like Sam L is just taking his money and going home now.
Yeah. He's bored and he wants to just be like, you know.
I think he just wants to make films, which you know is respectable, because at the end of the day he is an actor, but he just wants to make films.
Yeah.
Whether they're good or not, he's just making out there making.
And he
films.
like, you know what? If you're willing to pay for me, I'll do it.
And he's. Did you mean that an innuendo?
Oh no, I didn't pick up on it.
No.
That was as bad as going as deep as Tom Hardy. With Tom Hardy. Even.
Sorry, who said that?
Has that been cut?
No. I might. I'm not going to.
I wouldn't. I think it works when we just drivel on and on.
Samuel L. Jackson is 70 years old.
Wow.
Which, if you look at Samuel L. Jackson, he does not look 70 years old.
No.
He looks like 50. And the fact that he's still making films like The Hitman's Bodyguard 2, which is coming out, I enjoyed it.
Not seen the second. Not seen the second one.
Yeah, don't think it's out yet. But films like that where he's got to, be active and things like that. 70 years old.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Look, put it this way.
Before he gets hurt.
I'm assuming at least one person who's listening to this podcast watched Madonna perform at Eurovision. I'm going to make Dan watch it after we've gotten off this. She is 60 years of age and she needs to
Madonna's
stop.
60?
Yeah. She was horrendous.
Oh no.
Honestly, she was the worst person on Eurovision, and I watched two Slovakians like stare at each other in like a blue light, and it was the most disturbing thing ever. Yet Madonna was worse. There was a screamo act from Iceland. I think they were better than Madonna. Madonna needs to stop.
That's concerning.
Yeah. Dan, what are you looking forward to? A film. Hit me.
It, Part 2, Chapter 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
That is the full name of the film.
A film that actually looks as good, if not better, than the first.
I would say it looks better than the first. It, we mentioned earlier, good horror films. It, Chapter 1, is incredible.
A good remake.
It's not a remake.
Is it not a remake?
It's a different adaptation of the same source material. Film studies.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not a remake. It's that. It's an adaptation. Yeah, it's such a good film, and the story of it needs 2 parts. It's always been in 2 parts. The book is massive, like over 1,000 pages. I have the book, not to hand, but I have the book.
That's a shame. You could have like slammed it down on the table to emphasise.
I mean,
point.
the first TV adaptation was it a TV film, where it was not in. I think it was in 2 parts, but it's basically when they're kids and then when they're adults.
Yeah.
The TV film like merged them. This film chose to do it differently and show them as kids, and then in chapter 2 show them as adults when they move back. Well, they don't move back. They go back to the town of Derry because Mike, one of the losers club, stays in Derry and then I think informs them that Pennywise is back.
Oh no.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Sorry, I didn't mean to sound as enthusiastic as I did then. I was like, oh no.
I know. Pennywise is back.
Oh no, Pennywise is back.
But yeah, it just looks genuinely terrifying. I find clowns to be quite scary because of Pennywise.
Which is odd, considering you have 2 Funko Pops of Pennywise both just sitting there.
Yeah, I have Pennywise from the film. I also have the
classic.
The classic Pennywise. Played by
a man.
Yeah, the guy from the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Another great musical, actually. His name.
We're bad with our names today, aren't we?
We are. I don't remember. But he is incredible. I think it is Tim Curry.
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry is phenomenal. Now, what was scary about the first iteration of it, the TV film, it happened in broad daylight. Like, he would just steal kids in broad daylight and just fuck shit up in general. And then, the second one, sort of similar, but it's a little bit darker.
Yeah.
A lot takes place in there's like the house of Pennywise. But I'm looking forward to chapter 2 because it looks like a good horror film, and for me, that's something that I would like to see more of. More commercially successful horror films. And Bill Skarsgård's performance as Pennywise, in my opinion, is one of the most one of the most suited castings.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, most suited castings I've ever seen. It's so good. Yeah. Him as Pennywise is amazing. Truly terrifying.
Do you think the release of the second It film is going to spark another clown YouTube frenzy? That was a fascinating part of, what was that, 2016, 17?
I think 2015, 2016.
Really? That long ago?
Because, oh god, it's 2019.
Why did that happen?
I'm getting old.
Yeah.
I'm getting old.
I had this discussion with my sister the other day. I said I can't actually afford to turn 20 because my knees click as much as it is.
Yeah.
I'm still in my teens, and this is only going to get worse.
Yeah.
My body's slowly deteriorating. I'm waking up with vertigo. I've got bad knees.
When you get to 20, your knees...
Is it just time to give up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, to be fair, it's in about 15 days, so...
Oh, God. Time's coming up. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. The scene in the sewer at the beginning of chapter 1, where he's talking to Georgie, and then proceeds to bite his arm clean off, is terrifying.
Yeah.
When he's just talking to the kid, and it's like trying to convince him, things like that. It's just scary because it's happening. Well, not in broad daylight, but it's it's daytime outside. It's raining, and where he laughs and he just like stops and is just like groaning, and he's just staring at Georgie, and he's like does the laugh. I'm not gonna do it. I can do it.
I really want you to do it.
No, because I need to watch it first, and then going back to when I used to do impressions, I would watch it and then I would do it,
and then you'd listen to it back, and then you'd cut it,
no, because I would do it in person. And people would be like, "Yeah, that's really good," and then I'm like, I don't know if they're lying to me or not.
Yeah,
can you just stop? This was before.
If they hate your impressions, just be so blunt and honest.
This was also before I got. I feel like I mention it way too much, but I have acute sinusitis, so my sinuses are too big for my face.
I see. Is that I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying you have. I thought you were complimenting yourself.
No, I have.
I
don't actually. They're monstrously big. They're too big for my face. So before I had this, my voice was a lot less nasally than it is now.
Oh, I see.
Actually, a completely different voice.
Yeah.
So I could do all the impressions, but now I can't do them because everyone just sounds like them. But
yeah, nasally. I mean, I never thought I had a nasally voice until I listened to myself on a podcast, and I was like,
I'm really sorry to everyone that gets this far because
this is just
you've had to listen to our nasally voices for an hour and 35 minutes.
Yeah,
hour and 38. Wow, even worse than we thought.
I mean, honestly, it's people
who
are
far,
here now.
Done well.
Yeah,
you've done.
If you've made it to this point, please comment Adam Sandler
as Galactus.
Yeah. And then you'll know that you are a real trooper. The film I'm looking forward to this year is The Joker,
starring
Joaquin Phoenix. I think it just looks good. I like the character of the Joker. I think it's a really compelling. As we've seen with Thanos, villains can be just as compelling as heroes. And you so want to do a Thanos impression, don't you?
I do, because every time you mention Thanos, it's
like a Venom instinct, isn't it?
Yeah, where it's just the first, I think it's the first line from the Infinity War trailer, where he says, "I know what it's like to lose." It's just so like, oh, I love it so much. Yeah. He's just such a bastard. Oh, I love it.
Big head and chin.
What a chin.
What a chin. I wish I could be half the man that he is.
Oh, he is literally a Titan.
Yeah.
He also comes from Titan, which is
ace.
Knowledge.
The more you know, kids. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the Joker. As you can tell, Dan is far more descriptive with his reasonings. I'm just very much like, it looks good. It looks alright. The trailer looks good. Good song in it.
Pretty good.
I like the song Smile.
I don't know.
I was going to sing it, but no.
Sing it.
No.
I don't know.
I think we've pretty much exhausted our resources. I mean, it is almost this is the longest podcast by
about half an hour.
Yeah. But it's June and summer's coming. You wouldn't know it from looking outside, but summer's on its way, and people have more time to listen to us.
Yeah, which
my mum listens to these.
Does she?
Mum, if you've made it to this point, I'm sorry.
I love you.
Yeah, I mean, that was Dan that said that, but I do love you as well. I'm a disappointment.
I'll happily say it to your face as well.
Yeah,
I love you.
You won't get to meet my mum, which is a shame.
I will over the summer.
This is quite an emotional moment, actually, for me and Dan, because you know, this is
the last face-to-face podcast we'll have before September, when we come back to where we live in Bath. We're going home for 3 months. Which doesn't mean no podcast for 3 months.
No, we're going to definitely.
It just means we're not going to have face-to-face podcasts.
Yeah. So it will be a lot of experimenting and seeing how we can do it.
It's going to make it harder for me.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of transferring large files. We probably aren't going to be able to do 1 hour 38 minute audio files.
It's going to be more. It's going to be like half the time.
Yeah.
Because I can't put my laptop through that.
And the internet.
Yeah.
The internet here is... I mean, I don't know what your internet is like. But
no, this is about 10 times better than my internet at home.
This is about 1,000,000 times better than mine.
Yeah, it's just
bad.
Yeah, I mean, we will do them. They will just be 45 minutes to an hour because I feel like we'll have... You know, we won't have the resources that we have here. Yeah. So,
And I feel like when I can see your face, it suddenly becomes more to talk about.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So, but they'll still come. Don't worry. We'll still be pushing them out. And hopefully people will still be enjoying them as they sit and sunbathe and rub sun cream on themselves. I like to think someone is doing that right now, who maybe is just watching this
it's
2 months removed. Yeah, no, don't tell them that.
Okay.
We're giving the impression that it is actually... It's 30 degrees, the sun's beaming down, they've just burnt their legs.
Here comes the sun.
Do-do-do-do.
Here comes the sun.
God, the Beatles are definitely gonna...
That's not how it goes. Classic.
Oh, it's just divulged. It's totally divulged. Well, I mean, I think this is the time when we say thank you so much.
See you later.
We end it with a... Yeah, alright.
I've been hungry this entire time.
Have you really?
Yeah, I'm starving.
Whilst Dan feeds whatever you're doing after this, enjoy yourself. Thank you for devoting a total of 1 hour, 43 minutes, and now 30 seconds with us. We thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.